Hello everybody and welcome to the Tech Guys, and today we're going to give you a basic introduction to computers. This is going to be the start of a long list of videos in the Basics series in which we'll teach you everything you need to know about computers.
In this series we'll be taking apart an old computer to show you how they work in an accessible manner to those who are interested in computing. This is an old HP WX400 workstation that we picked up for £100. It has an Intel Core 2 processor that we'll speak much about later. You can pick up many computers like this on sites such as eBay, which is really good for people who want to get into computing, as you can understand in detail all the parts that you will need if you wish to build a custom PC.
Okay, so we're finally done, we've got all the pieces out. So yeah, we're going to go over these in in really deep detail in some later videos. We're just going to give you a general overview. Here's what the case looks like, without any parts in it. It looks a bit bare, doesn't it? We didn't manage to get the optical drive out. I don't really know what happened there, it just seemed a bit difficult. The CPU, or Central Processing Unit, is the part of the computer that is generally referred to as the brains of a computer. The CPU is responsible for executing a sequence of stored instructions called a program. This program takes input from the motherboard and then processes that input and sends it back to wherever it is needed. That could be to the graphics card to render an image, or it could be sent straight to other parts of the computer.
RAM, or Random Access Memory, is a type of memory that can be accessed quickly and easily by the computer. The more you have of it, the faster your computer will be.
This is because random access memory is accessed randomly. You don't have to sift through all of the information you've got on, say, your hard drive to get the information you need. Next is your GPU, or your graphics card. It's a piece of computer hardware that produces the image you see on your monitor. The graphics card is responsible for rendering an image to your monitor. It does this by converting information that is received from the motherboard on your processor and turning it into a language or a signal that your monitor can understand. This is the motherboard. The motherboard is the main circuit board inside a computer. It links together the other parts of the PC so that they will work together perfectly. The motherboard is what takes your input, so your keyboard, your mouse, and processes it and takes it to where it needs to go. So for example, the CPU or the graphics card. It's then processed and then outputted onto the monitor.
We're going to start with the one on the left. This is a case fan. It goes on the inside of your case and connects to the motherboard via this cable here. This drags air in through one air vent in the case and pushes it out through another, allowing sufficient cooling throughout the case. The one on the right here, this is a CPU heatsink and fan. As you can see, it's obviously got a fan on it, and this metal bit here is the heatsink, and the processor is on the bottom here.
Cooling is required to remove the waste heat produced by computer parts to keep components within optimal operating temperatures. Two main methods of cooling are fan cooling and liquid cooling, which we don't have an example of. Both work well, but liquid cooling is better, but the fan gets rid of dust, so preferably you'd want a combo of them. Liquid cooling works really well for dealing with certain parts of your computers, such as your CPU or your graphics card. People often have liquid cooling on them, but then you want a fan to just keep the whole computer flowing nicely. But yeah. Okay, so now we've got the hard drive, or the hard disk drive. It is a device that permanently stores and retrieves information. A hard drive can be used to store just about any type of data: pictures, music, videos, text. A computer can use this information to feed into the processor when needed. This is done by the motherboard. So the motherboard will request some information from the hard disk drive. It's not as fast as RAM, but it still works. I mean, it can store much more than RAM. So it requests that information then feeds through the motherboard and then it sends it off to where it needs to go, for example the GPU or the motherboard, or the processor, sorry. This is the power supply, and a power supply uses the mains and converts it into the correct amount of watts for each component, and then feeds the power to the components continuously. So it takes a big amount of power and converts it into different amounts of power depending on what part of the motherboard or graphics card it's sending it to. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you found it informative. We'll be leaving links in the description to videos we'll be making where we'll go over the stuff we've talked about in more detail. Thank you for watching.